Hey, what's up, and welcome back to another build tutorial, where today I'm going to show you how to build your own modern McDonald's in Minecraft. Perfect place to go and grab yourself a nice burger and fries. Inside features a whole new modern design, and also a large kitchen where all the food is prepped. And before I do start this tutorial, I'd really appreciate it if you can give that like button a little click, as it does help me out, and I'd highly appreciate that. But yeah, with all that said, let's start building. Here are all the materials that you will need for this build. And the plot of land you will need is 31 by 35 blocks. So first up, I'm just going to grab myself some grey concrete to begin with. And if we just go to the front left corner, just here, I'm just going to count across one block and then up by 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. On that block, I'm going to place some grey concrete. And then next to that grey concrete, I'm going to place another 6 blocks, just going along. And then I'm just going to extend this point up by another 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks, just like so. And the next up, I'm then going to grab myself some light grey concrete, and I'm also going to grab myself some yellow concrete. So with this light grey concrete, firstly, I'm just going to leave a gap of 4 and then place 1, and then leaving a gap of 4, but this time I'm going to place some yellow, and then leaving a gap of 4, placing some light grey, and then just going around, leaving a gap of 4, placing some more grey, just like so. And then I'm just going to extend each of these points up by another 4 blocks, so 1, 2, 3, 4. So just doing that for each of these points. So if you've done everything correctly so far, all of this should be 5 blocks high. And then going to the right hand side, I'm going to leave a gap of 4, and then this time going to the yellow concrete, I'm going to place 1, 2, just like so. And I'm just going to extend that up by another 4 blocks. And then I'm just going to place one more just to the right, extending that up. Then leaving a gap of 2, I'm going to place 2 more yellow concrete. And then I'm just going to build this going all the way up. And then at the bottom, I'm just going to place 2 yellow concrete. I'm going to leave a gap of 3. And then I'm just going to place 2 concrete just at the top there. And then just flipping over to the other side, going back to the grey concrete, I'm just going to place 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 going along. And then I'm just going to extend this up just to cover the rest of this yellow wall, just like so. And then next up, I'm just going to place another 5 grey concrete going along, and then I'm just going to extend that going all the way up, so it's level with everything else. And then going around, I'm going to place another 4 grey concrete, and then I'm just going to extend that up, just like so. And the next, with this yellow concrete, I'm just going to place 1, 2 blocks going along. And then I'm just going to extend that up, going all the way to the top. So it should be 5 blocks high. So we're just keeping everything level at this point. Then I'm going to leave a gap of 2, place another 2 yellow concrete, and then build that up. And then in the middle at the bottom, placing another 2 yellow. And then leaving a gap of 3, placing 2 yellow at the top. And then flipping over just to the other side here. With the grey concrete, I'm just going to place this all over where there's yellow, just to cover that bit up. And the next, I'm just going to place another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 grey concrete, just going all the way along here. And then I'm just going to extend this strip going all the way up so it's level with everything else. Just like so. And then going around, I'm just going to place 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 grey concrete just going along. And then I'm just going to extend this up just to the top. Just like so. And then going back to the light grey concrete, I'm just going to leave a gap of 4, place 1, gap of 4, place another 1. And I'm going to extend these 2 points up so they're 5 blocks high in total. And And the next up, I'm just going to start adding in some of the windows. So for that, I'm just going to grab myself some black stained glass panes here. And firstly, I'm just going to fill in these first 3 sections on the side to begin with. So just filling all of these in with the glass here. Just like so. And then going to the front, I'm going to fill in the next 2 windows with some more of this glass. And then when I get to this end little gap, this is going to be for the entrance. So for that, I'm just going to place glass on the right hand side. And then I'm going to grab myself a deep slate tile wall. And I'm just going to place 1 bit of glass to the left, the wall just going on top, and then more glass on top of that wall. So that'll give us our entrance. And going around to the other side, I'm just going to fill in these remaining 2 gaps with more of the glass. Just like so. And the next, for the drive-through windows, I'm going to add some sliding doors. So for the first one, I'm just going to place 3 glass on the left hand side, and then I'm just going to do the same thing for this back one as well. So as you see, all of the windows have now been added. So next up, I'm just going to start laying out some of the inside walls for the restaurant here. So for that, I'm just going to grab myself some light grey concrete, and from this point, I'm just going to place 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 blocks going across. I'm just going to extend this going all the way up. Just until it's level with everything else. And the next up, I'm just going to place 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 grey concrete going along here. And then leaving a gap of 3, placing another 5 at the top. And then I'm going to place 2 just there. And then I'm going to build that up. Just like so. And actually, this is going to give us a nice large window here, which is going to be where customers are going to collect their orders and stuff. And then just going around, I'm just going to place 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blocks going across. And then I'm just going to extend this up. And then I'm going to leave a gap of 2, and then placing 5 grey concrete just on the end there. And the next up, just leaving a gap of 2 here, I'm just going to place more grey concrete going all the way up. And the next, I'm going to leave a gap of 2, and then place another 5 light grey concrete. And then in this gap, placing some more concrete, just like so. And next, for some doors, I'm going to grab myself a polished deep slate wall. I'm just going to place 5 just on each side here. Just like so. And then next up, just going back to the yellow concrete, I'm just going to leave a gap of 2 just here. And then I'm going to place some more just down like that. And then I'm just going to extend that across so it's 7 blocks along in total. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that'll give us a row of 7. And then I'm just going to extend this going all the way up so it's level with everything else. Just like so. Moving on, I'm now going to add most of the flooring in. For this, firstly, I've got to create some gaps for where all of the tables and stuff are going to go, because I will be using pistons. So firstly, I'm going to grab myself some blocks of redstone and some pistons. So going inside, from this point, I'm going to count across 1, and then dig these down and place some redstone blocks at the bottom. Then I'm going to leave a gap, dig down another 2, and then place some redstone just there. And then gap of 1, and just repeating these another 2 times, just like so. I'm thinking about it, we probably won't need the pistons until later. So I'll leave you something that looks like this. And then moving along, I'm going to leave a gap of 3 here, and then dig down another section like so, and then place some more redstone blocks. And then I'm going to leave a gap of 2, and then I'm just going to continue to create another 4 holes just like so. And then placing some more redstone just at the bottom here. And next up, from this point, I'm just going to count across 1, 2, then go up by 1, digging down 2, and then placing some redstone at the bottom. And then I'm going to leave a gap of 3, and then repeat this another 2 times, leaving another gap of 3 just like so. As you see, that'll give us some markings for where all the tables and stuff is going to go later. And next up, I've also got to create a few holes in the kitchen area. So if I just go to this corner here, I'm just going to go across 1, and then destroy 3 like so. And then in the bottom, I'm just going to place some grey concrete just down, just there. And I'm also going to place some at the back. And then if I just go to this corner just over here, I'm just going to count across 1, 2. And then I'm going to destroy these 2 blocks, and fill in that with some grey concrete. And this will all make sense later on. So next up, we can start adding in all of the floor. So for the main floor in this restaurant, I'm going to be using stripped birch logs. We're going to create some sort of plank pattern with these. So firstly, I'm just going to dig out the rest of this floor area. So just digging out all of this main bit. So that'll leave you with something that looks like this. And then I'm also going to dig out the bits just underneath where the windows are. Just like so. So for the main floor, I'm going to be using some stripped birch logs here. And I'm going to be placing these so they all face diagonally. Just like so. So as you see, as I'm placing them, I'm just keeping them in one direction. And then basically just where I've marked out the redstone, I'm just going to leave those bits empty. So we're going to use all of this redstone as like a bit of a guide here. As you see, by placing the logs in this way, it gives us a nice little plank pattern, which looks a bit different from the original Minecraft planks. We can also replace these little bits of dirt as well. So as you see, that will leave you with the main floor, which looks like this. And then for the kitchen floor, I'm going to grab myself some smooth stone. And then I'm just going to replace all of this grass with all of this smooth stone here. And that will complete the floor for the kitchen area. That's basically the main foundations of the interior all done. So now we can move on to doing all of the outside foundations and stuff. So to start the outside foundations, firstly, I'm just going to grab myself some smooth stone. And then if we just go to the front right corner, just here, I'm just going to place 1, 2 bits of smooth stone, just like so. And then from this point, I'm just going to replace a lot of this yellow border with all this smooth stone. So I'm just going to replace the yellow border just until I meet the back left corner, just here. And the next, I'm just going to place another bit of smooth stone just here. And then I'm going to leave a gap of 5. And then placing some more smooth stone like so. And then I'm just going to replace some more of this yellow border. Just going all the way around, just until there is a 5 block gap just here. So that will leave us 2 5 block gaps. And the next up, sticking with the smooth stone, from this point, I'm just going to place some more going all the way to the top. And then placing another strip in the left direction. Just like so. And then just from this point, I'm going to place some more smooth stone going along, just until I reach the yellow wall. And then going to the other side of the yellow wall, placing another 6 going across. And then going around, placing 5. And then I'm just going to place more smooth stone going all the way down, just to meet with the edge just there. And then just where all of this grass is in this front area, I'm just going to replace all of that with this stone. So that'll leave you with something that looks just like this. And next up, I'm now going to fill in the road for the drive-through. So for that, I'm just going to grab myself some grey concrete. And firstly, I'm just going to replace, wherever I've placed this yellow wall, I'm just going to replace these 2 strips. And the next up, I'm then going to grab myself some yellow concrete. And these are going to be for the arrows, so customers know which direction the drive-through goes in. So this bit's going to be the exit. So with the yellow concrete, I'm going to make a little downwards arrow, like so. And then if we go to the other side, this is going to be the entrance. So we'll do an upwards arrow just to there. So with the arrows placed, next up, going back to the grey concrete, I'm just going to replace all of this grass area with all this grey concrete, which will complete the road. And that will complete all of the road here, like so. And then just to enclose the road off, I'm going to add some bushes going around. So for that, I'm just going to grab myself some oak leaves. And firstly, from this point, I'm just going to place 2 oak leaves going up. And then I'm just going to extend these going all the way across. Just here. And then going around, I'm just going to extend this along further. Just until I reach the edge here. So next up, moving on to this little front section here. This is going to be a little outdoor eating area. So for that, I'm going to add some fences. So for the fences, going back to the grey concrete, I'm going to place 1 block here. Then I'm going to leave a gap of 3, place another block. And then leaving a gap of 3, place another block. Leave a gap of 3, place another block. And repeating that another 2 times. But then when I get to here, I'm actually going to leave a gap of 4 because this is going to be where the main entrance is going to go. So I'm going to place 1 bit of grey concrete on the end there. But then another gap of 3 just here. And another bit of grey concrete. And next up, I'm just going to grab myself some iron bars. And then I'm just going to place these bars in between each of these gaps. Apart from the entrance. And then finally, I'm just going to grab myself some grey carpet. And this is just going to neaten the fences off. So I'm just going to place the carpet on top. Just like so. And that will complete the fences for the outside. So next up, let's complete the rest of the building here. So for that, going back to the grey concrete, just on this point, I'm going to place 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks going up. And then I'm just going to extend this whole point going all the way across. So I'm just going to go around this entire perimeter, which is going to build up the wall quite a bit. So just going all the way around. By the end, you should end up with something that looks like this. You should have a nice large grey wall going all the way around. Now it's time to add some of the extra details. So firstly, I'm going to grab some yellow concrete, and if I just go to this little section here, I'm just going to build this up by another 6 blocks going up, just like so. And then if I just flip over to the other side, I'm then going to place 6 going inwards, just like that. And then going around, I'm going to do the same thing for this other little yellow section. So again, building this up by another 6 blocks. And then flipping over to the other side, placing 6 just going inwards. And then returning to the front. Next, I'm then going to grab myself some white concrete. And then if I just go to this point here, I'm going to place 1, 2 bits of white concrete, just like so. And then I'm just going to extend this going all the way across, just until 2 blocks are sticking out. And then going around, I'm just going to extend this going all the way across along this yellow bit, just until another 2 blocks are sticking across just here. And then going around, I'm going to continue to extend this just to this point here. And then I'm just going to add another 3 rows of 2 like so. So if you've done this correctly, there should be a gap of 7 just on the end here. And then if we go back to the front, we can now add the McDonald's logo. So to do that, from this point, I'm going to count across 1, and then I'm going to place 1, 2, 3 yellow concrete going up. And then I'm going to go across 1 and up, placing some yellow. And then I'm going to go across 1 and then down, placing some more yellow, followed by 2 more under it. And then going diagonally up, placing another bit of yellow. And then going diagonally down, placing 3 yellow, just like so. And as you see, by doing that, that'll give you the iconic McDonald's logo here. And then next up, for some extra details, I'm going to be adding some oak leaves for some side bushes. So for these bushes, just going to the right hand side here, I'm just going to place 5 going along just here, followed by another 4. And to add a bit of extra detail to the bush, I'm going to add 2 on the left, and then 1 more on top. And leaving a gap, placing another leaf. And then leaving a gap of 2, placing 2 more oak leaves, and then 1 more oak leaf on top. So that'll give us the first bush. And I'm also going to add another bush just here. So for that, from this point, I'm just going to place 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just going along. And then that'll be followed by 3 leaves in the middle, followed by 1 at the top here, and then 1 going diagonally across and up, just like that. And then finally, I'm just going to add the little drive-through speaker just here. So for that, I'm just going to grab myself some black concrete. I'm going to place 1 bit there. And then on top of that, I'm going to grab myself a note block. I'm going to place 1 of those. And on top of the note block, I'm going to place some more black concrete. And then I'm going to grab myself an oak sign. Place that down. I'm just going to type in order. Just there. So we're nearly done with most of the outside now. Next up, I'm now going to show you how to create some of the outdoor seating here. So for that, you're going to need some birch stairs, some birch fences, and some birch pressure plates. So with the stairs, I'm just going to place 2 just here, leaving a gap of 2, placing another 2, and leaving a gap, placing 2, gap, placing another 2, and I'm just going to repeat this another 2 more times. So that'll give us 4 lots of chairs. And then for the tables, I'm just going to place fences in between each of these stairs. And then to finish them off, I'm going to add some birch pressure plates like so, which will give us some nice wooden tables. That'll complete the outdoor eating area. So next up, we've got to finish off all of the roof here. Now the cool thing about this McDonald's build is that it does have an automatic lighting system, which I'm going to show you how to make now. So for this, firstly, I've got some white concrete here to begin with. And if I just go to this corner here, just to this point, I'm just going to place 1 bit of white concrete there, followed by 2 next to it. And then I'm just going to extend this point going all the way along, just to the other side. Just like so. That will start a bit of the ceiling. And then going to the right hand side, I'm going to place another 3 white concrete. And I'm just going to extend this going all the way across, just until I reach the back wall. Just like so. You should end up with something that looks like this. And then if we go to the left hand side, I'm just going to place 4 concrete going along, just like so. And don't worry, it is meant to be uneven on this side. I promise that's not an error. And then I'm just going to extend this going all the way across, just until I reach the back, just like so. So next, what I'm going to do, I'm going to leave a gap here, and then I'm going to place 3, another gap, place 3, another gap, place 3. So you should end up with 3 points, just like so. And then I'm just going to extend each of these points going all the way across, just to the back. So So that'll leave you something that looks like this. So starting with this first strip here, I'm just gonna leave a gap, place 3, leave a gap, place 3, leave a gap, place 3, leave a gap, and then place 3. Just like so. I'm just gonna do the same thing for these other 3 sections. So as you see, that will leave you 16 points where all of the lights are going to go. Next up, I'm then going to grab myself some white stained glass, just like so there. And I'm just going to fill each of these gaps in with the glass here. So that'll leave you something that looks like this. Next up, I'm then going to grab myself some redstone lamps, and I'm just going to place 1 lamp on top of each bit of glass. Just like so. Next up, I'm then going to grab myself a repeater. I'm just going to place 1 behind each lamp. Just like this. And the next, I'm then going to grab myself some redstone dust. And then first, if I just go to the bottom left lamp just here, just above the repeater, I'm going to place 1 bit of redstone dust. And then I'm just going to extend this going all the way across to meet with the end. And as you see, that will connect all of the lamps up. So I'm just going to do that for the other 3 rows. And then to make sure these lamps all turn on at the same time, going to the left hand side, I'm just going to place redstone in between these 3 little gaps. Just there. And the next for an on and off switch, I'm just going to go to the back left corner. And then just there, I'm going to destroy a block. And then I'm going to grab myself a lever. I'm just going to place a lever just there. So as you see, if I go inside the restaurant, it looks a bit dark at the minute. If I go over here and I flick the lever, we now have light inside. So next up, let's neaten off this roof. So for the roof, I'm going to grab myself some light grey concrete. And then just go into this corner. I'm just going to count. Firstly, from this point, I'm going to go up by 1, placing some light grey concrete there. And then I'm just going to extend this going all the way across. And then I'm just going to extend this going all the way across to the other side to fill in all of the roof. So as you see, that will neaten off the roof, just like so. And then just for some final details for the roof, I'm going to be adding some air vents. So for that, I'm just going to grab myself some stone, some stone brick walls, and also some rails. So for that, firstly, with the stone, from this point, I'm going to count across 1, 2, and then I'm going to go down by 1, 2. I'm going to place a bit of stone there. I'm just going to extend that out so it's a 2 by 2 square. And then leaving a gap, placing another square, leaving a gap, placing another square. And then in the middle, I'm going to leave a gap, placing another square, and then leaving a gap, placing another square, and then at the top, placing another square, just like so. And the next, with the stone brick walls, I'm going to place 1, 2 just on the left, followed by 1, and then 2 in the middle, and then 1 on the end. And then for the vent fans, we're going to be using rails to create these, and all you got to do is place 4 rails going in a circle, just like so here. And then to finish off this top bit, I'm just going to grab myself some yellow concrete. And then firstly, starting on the right hand side, I'm just going to place 6 going along. And then I'm just going to build that going all the way up. Just like so there. And then we're just going to do the exact same thing on the other side. So placing 6 going along and then building it up by another 2 levels like so. So next up, it's now time to decorate all of the interior. So first up, let's add in all of the tables and chairs. So for this, firstly, I'm just going to grab myself a piston. And just wherever there's any redstone blocks, I'm just going to place 1 piston on top of each block. Just like so. As you see, that'll give us lots of tables. And the next, I'm then going to grab myself some yellow carpet. And then I'm just going to place yellow carpet firstly on these first 4. Just like so. And I'm also going to place some yellow carpet on these other 5. And then for these singular tables, I'm going to place some grey carpet on these ones. Just to finish those ones off. And the next for the chairs, I'm then going to grab myself some smooth quartz stairs. And firstly, just from this point, I'm going to place stairs going all the way along, just to the end, just there. And then on the other side, I'm just going to place 2 in front of each table, just like so. And as I'm recording this video, Minecraft have just announced that they are adding cushions, which is very exciting. So once cushions are officially added, you'll be able to actually sit on these stairs, which will be very exciting. So with these stairs, I'm then going to place chairs on either side of these small tables. Just like so. And then finally, I'm just going to add chairs for the rest of these other tables. So now, as you see, our McDonald's is full of seating. So next up, for the electronic ordering systems. So for those, you're going to need, firstly, some polished deep slate walls. And firstly, from this point, just going to cut across 1, place a wall down. And then I'm going to leave a gap, place a wall, leave a gap, place another wall, just like so. And then I'm then going to grab myself some white concrete. I'm just going to place concrete above each of these walls. And then next, I'm going to grab myself a stone button. And I'm just going to place 1 button on the side of each panel. And the next, I'm going to grab myself 3 black banners. And then I'm also going to grab myself 6 white dye. Also going to need to grab a loom. We're going to be making the screens. So I'm just going to show you one of these banners, and all you've got to do is repeat it twice. So for 1 banner, banner in, and then the white dye. And all you're going to need to do is this white stripe on the bottom, and then a white border going all the way around. And then you just need to repeat that for the other 2 banners. And then once you've got 3 banners, you can place them all in front, and that'll give us our screens. And the next, I'm also going to add a screen on this end where all the order numbers come up, so you know when to collect your food. So for that, you're going to need a black banner and some white dye. You put our loom down again, put these in, and then you just need a white border going around. And then we can place that just there. And then to add a little bit more detail to the ordering counter, I'm just going to add some yellow carpet there. I'm going to leave a gap and place another 3. And then for a till, I'm going to grab a polished deep slate stair, and I'm just going to put that just there. And then for the McDonald's menu, what we're going to do, I'm just going to grab myself some item frames. And then with these, I'm just going to place 6 like so. Then we're going to get some Minecraft food, and we're going to put them in there. So I'm going to grab myself some bread, some beef, a potato, some chicken, a cake, and a cookie. And we're just going to place these all in the item frame. Just like so. So next up, I'm going to add some overhead lighting for some of the tables just here. So for that, you're going to need a chain, a lantern, and you're also going to need a bamboo trapdoor. So for these, firstly, just at this second table, just on this block, looking up, I'm going to place a chain down. That'll be followed by a lantern. And around that lantern, I'm just going to add 4 bamboo trapdoors going all the way around, which give us a nice little light. And then I'm going to do the same thing for this table over here. So standing on the table, from that point, looking up, placing the chain down, lantern underneath, and then placing trapdoors just going all the way around, just like so. And then next up, for a little ketchup station, first thing I'm going to grab myself some white concrete. I'm just going to place 2 there, and then I'm going to get myself some levers, and I'm just going to place 2 like so. And then I'm going to grab myself some more item frames, and I'm going to put 2 there. And then I'm going to grab myself some dye. So the red dye is going to represent ketchup, and the brown dye is going to represent brown sauce. And then I'm just going to put these inside. And then I'm also going to grab myself a cauldron, and then I'm just going to place a cauldron on the left. And then I'm just going to add an iron trapdoor on top for a little bin there. So next up, I'm going to add a bit of extra decoration. To the restaurant with some more banners. So the banners I'm going to show you how to make. I'm going to show you how to make this burger and also these chips. And yes, I am aware the burger's grey, but that is on purpose. Let's just say it's for artistic effect. So in total, you're going to need 3 of each of these banners. So I'm just going to show you how to make 1 pair, and then you just have to repeat the process another 2 times. So for these, you're going to need 2 grey banners, 1 white dye, 2 light grey dye, 3 yellow dye, and then 2 grey dye. I'm also going to need a loom as well. So first up, for the burger, we're going to put a grey banner in along with the white dye. And the first you're going to choose is upside down triangle, just like so. And the next, with the light grey, I'm going to do 1 stripe at the top, and then 1 stripe at the bottom. And then in with the yellow, I'm going to do this fancy pattern just there, and finish it off a yellow border going all the way around. So that will give us our burger banner. So for the chip banner next, grey banner in with the yellow dye. And firstly, I'm just going to choose this stripy pattern just there. And the next, in with the grey dye, I'm just going to choose this pointy pattern at the top, followed by this pointy pattern at the bottom. And that will give us our French fry banner. So in total, you're going to need 3 of these banners each. So the first lot of banners, I'm going to put just above the sauce station here. So I'm going to put the burger in the middle, and then the fries on each side. And then going to the other side, so this bit of the wall. So just on this point, I'm then going to place a burger, and then some fries, and then a burger again. So as you see, these banners will add a nice bit of modern artwork to the restaurant area. So next up, I need to decorate the toilet area. So firstly, for a sink, I'm going to grab myself some smooth quartz stairs. I'm just going to place 2, just like so. So the end one should be a corner one. And then I'm going to grab myself a water bucket, and I'm just going to fill the sink with some water there. And then I'm going to grab myself a tripwire hook. I'm going to place 1 there for a little tap. And then next, for a loo roll holder, I'm going to grab myself an item frame and some white wool. I'm going to put the item frame down alongside the white wool there. And then going to the back, I'm then going to grab myself a hopper. I'm going to place 1 hopper here. And then next, I'm going to grab myself an iron trapdoor. And then I'm just going to place a trapdoor on top. And then I'm going to grab myself a lever. And then I'm going to place a lever next to it, so you can open and close the door and flush as you please. So that'll give us the little toilet area. So with the toilet done, we can now move on to decorating the main kitchen area here. So first up, let's start by adding in a fridge. So for the fridge, I'm going to grab myself some pistons. And firstly, I'm just going to place 4 pistons going up like that. And then 4 pistons in the other direction. And that'll give us a nice large looking fridge here. And then for a little washing up section, I've got some cauldrons. I'm just going to place 2 down. And then I'm going to fill the cauldrons up with a water bucket. Just like so. And the next, I'm going to grab a tripwire hook, and I'm just going to place these above the cauldrons. And then With an iron trapdoor, I'm just going to place a trapdoor above the taps and another 2 trapdoors as well. That will give us some shelves. And the next, to extend the kitchen cabinet, I'm going to grab myself some iron blocks. I'm just going to place 2 there. And then next up for the fryer section. So for the fryer section, firstly, I'm going to grab myself some armor stands. I'm going to put 2 just in this gap, just there. And then I'm going to grab myself a chainmail helmet. And we're going to put 1 on top of each of the armor stands. Because as you see, these look a little bit like fire baskets. And then I've got some cauldrons here. I'm going to put 2 cauldrons on top. I'm going to grab a piston, and I'm also going to grab a redstone block. Or you could use a redstone torch for this. And then I'm just going to put a piston on both of the cauldrons. Put the block on top. And then that will power the pistons, and that will push them into the armor stands to give us our fryers here. And then either side, I'm then going to grab a polished deep slate stair. And I'm just going to place a stair on each side of the cauldron. And then I'm going to place a block of iron just on the end. And then leaving a gap, place another bit of iron. I'm then going to leave a gap of 4 and then place some more iron on the end. And this is going to be our grill section. So for the grill section, I'm going to grab a smoker. And I'm just going to put 4 smokers along like so. And the next, I'm going to grab some item frames. And I'm going to place 4 going along. And in these item frames, I'm going to grab myself some steak. And I'm just going to put steak inside some of them. Now, I'm not sure if you can do this in bedrock, but if you grab yourself some black stone pressure plates, if I shift, you can place pressure plates on top of the smokers, which will give us a grill effect. I know you can do this in Java. If you can't do this in bedrock, then what you can do, you can just get rid of the item frames and then just have the pressure plates just like so. But hopefully it does work. And the next up, for an exhaust, I'm going to grab myself some stone stairs. I'm also going to grab myself some blocks of stone. And then I'm just going to place 4 stairs just going around like so. And I'm going to do the same thing over the fire section as well. And then with the stone, I'm just going to place 4 on top of each bit, just like so here. And then for an extra tool for frying, I'm going to grab another item frame, place that down, and inside I'm just going to add a little shovel, adding an iron one just there. Then moving to the other side, we're now going to do the topping section, where all of the burgers and stuff get put together. So firstly, I'm going to add 3 iron blocks just on the end there. And then in this gap, I'm going to grab myself another armor stand. I'm just going to place 3 of these just inside. And the next, I'm then going to grab some helmets. So I'm going to grab a turtle shell, a gold helmet, and I'm also going to grab myself a leather cap with some red dye. So these helmets are going to represent all the different toppings. So we've got the turtle shell for the lettuce, we've got the golden helmet for the cheese, and for the tomato, I need to dye this leather cap. So let's grab ourselves a crafting table, and then let's just put these in to dye that. Oh, destroy my own building as we're building. And then with the leather cap, I'm just going to put that on the armor stand like so. And then we're going to do the exact same thing that we did with the fryers over there. So if we grab ourselves some cauldrons, let's place 3 there. And then if I just place pistons on top of each cauldron, we can then power them by putting 1 bit of redstone in the middle. And as you see, that will push them down, and that will give us our fryers. And as you see, our topping station is now all filled up. With some more iron, I'm just going to place another 3 on the end. And the next, I'm then going to grab myself some item frames, put 2 down. Then I'm going to grab myself some steak and some bread. Let's put these inside. And then we're going to do the same thing that we did with the grill area, where I shift and I can place pressure plates. And as you see, it looks like we've got some ingredients on the chopping board. And the next up, I'm going to grab myself some iron trapdoors. I'm just going to place from this point 3 going along, and then another 3 on top. And then for some storage, I'm then going to grab myself some light grey shulker boxes. And then I'm just going to place 8, just like so there. And then I'm also going to add a little drink section just here. So for that, I'm just going to grab some more iron, and I'm just going to place 5 iron blocks going along. And then for the drinks machine, I'm just going to grab myself a smooth quartz stair, and then I'm just going to place 1 on the end, leave a gap, and then another. In front, I'm going to get some item frames. I'm going to place these just in front of the stairs. And then I'm going to grab some cocoa beans, place that in the item frame. Also going to grab myself a bucket of milk, place that in the item frame. And the next, I'm then going to grab myself a flower pot. And I'm just going to place flower pots below each of the stairs. And next up, I'm just going to add the countertops to the kitchen. So for that, I've got some grey carpet. And I'm just going to place it on each iron block. Just like so. And then for each of the drive-thru sections, I'm just going to grab myself a polished deep slate stair. And I'm just going to add 1 on each section just for a little till. Just like so. And then for one final little detail, I've got another item frame here. I'm just going to put 1 there. And then inside, I'm just going to add a sword, which I can rotate so it's upside down, which will give us a little knife there. So with that done, that is the whole McDonald's all complete. Now here's a little bonus part of the video if you're on Java Edition and do have access to custom heads. So to access custom heads, you're going to need a command block. So in Java Edition, what you need to do /give, and then @p, and then you want to do Minecraft :command _block. And if you press enter, that will give you a command block. And if you place that down, as you see, you've got the whole command center there. So next up, if you head over to minecraftheads.com, I'll put the link in the description. You can see there's loads of different custom heads you can choose from here. So here we're going to search for some McDonald's food items. So first up, I'm going to search for fries. And as you see, you've got loads of different ones to choose from. So for the McDonald's fries, I think I'm going to choose this one. So you can click on that. And then make sure you copy the command for the right version of Minecraft. So at the minute, I'm playing in version 1.21.1, so make sure you select that. And then you want the give code here. Then I can press copy. And then I can head back into Minecraft where I can paste that command in. And then all I've got to do is get a button, activate the command block, and that will give me my fries head. Then we can destroy that command block and then reset it for our next head. So next up, I'm then going to search for Big Mac. So next up, I'm going to search for burger. And again, there's lots of burgers to choose from. I think I'm going to choose this one. This one looks very nice. Looks nice and fresh. So let's copy that one. And then again, paste that in the command block. And then activate it. That'll give us our burger. And then for our third head, this time I want to add some nuggets. I hope we can get ourselves some chicken nuggets. As you see, we have got McNuggets here. So we can click on that. And then we can copy that command. And then let's paste that in. Now we've got our nuggets. And the next, let's type in McChicken here. And then we can grab this one. Then we can paste that one in. That'll give us a nice McChicken sandwich. And the next is add some sweet stuff. I think next we've definitely got to add a McFlurry. There's no McFlurries here, that's a shame. Okay, I think I have to call it ice cream. And as you see, there's so many ice creams you can choose from here. But yeah, feel free to search the one you like. So I think the type of vanilla ice cream looks probably the most McFlurry-ish. So I'm going to grab this one. So let's paste that one in. And then finally, let's see if we can get ourselves an apple pie. So I think I'm going to choose this one here. So again, let's just copy that. And then again, let's paste that in. Just like so here. So as you see, by doing that, we have now got loads of different food items we can add into the restaurant. So with these heads, what you can do firstly, we can replace some of these menu items. And then we can add our burger, our fries, our McChicken, our nuggets, our ice cream, and our apple pie. So we can put them in the menu. And then we can also add some stuff into the kitchen. So for example, we can add some chips and some nuggets at the fire section. We can also add a little burger just on the assembly bit, just like so. We can also add a little tub of ice cream underneath this machine as well. We can also add some food into the dining area, so we can add some food onto some tables. So on this one, I'm going to add a burger and some fries. And then on this one, we can add some nuggets. And on this one, we can add a pie and some ice cream. Someone's on a dessert mission on that table. And then I can also add some extra fries on this one. So these heads aren't necessary at all, but I do add a bit of extra decoration to the restaurant. And there we have it. That is how to build a modern McDonald's in Minecraft. I really hope you did enjoy this tutorial, and I hope you are pleased with the final result. And if you did enjoy this tutorial, I'd really appreciate a little smash on that like button, as it really does help me out, and I'd really appreciate that. But yeah, so until next time, thanks for watching, and have a good day.